What's going on, everybody? My name is C4. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're here for a brand new Madden 26 realistic rebuild. And after the NFL trade deadline had passed, I don't think there's a team. We're going to rebuild the Dallas Cowboys very soon. ASAP might even be the next video that you guys see from me. But I don't think there's another team that was like, whoa, okay. That made a move more than the Indianapolis Colts, who ended up sending 2 first-round picks. And they went out and got Sauce Gardner. And I think, well, we already did the Jets rebuild side of this trade where we utilized those 2 first-round picks from the Colts, and we had a great time. I'm not going to spoil the ending of that rebuild, but let's just say impossible. I think we're going to have a little bit easier time here with the Indianapolis Colts. And, from a real-life standpoint, Sauce Gardner, I think it makes sense. This is a guy that was incredible early in his career, and then I don't know if he just became victim of, like, a bad Jets defense. But, the Sauce Gardner hype trains kind of fell a little bit, kind of diminished a little bit. So maybe a new landing spot for him to get back to that S-tier lockdown type level is what he needs. And at least from a Madden standpoint, he's arguably one of the best corners in Madden. He's 25 years old. For a 5-year rebuild, he's only going to get better. And I think, should be a 99 overall when all is said and done. And before you even go through the roster and break it down, the Colts have been the surprise team without a shadow of a doubt this season. You have Daniel Jones, who, from a rebuild standpoint, we have a very interesting decision to make. But this year, I have him in fantasy football. He's been one of my best players. Daniel Jones has been pretty damn good outside of the Pittsburgh Steelers loss. I think you have Jonathan Taylor, who's front runner for the NFL MVP award. You have good receiving weapons. Alec Pierce is on pace for over 1,000 yards. Josh Downs, we all know, is a very talented playmaker. Tyler Warren, what a pick. Literally every mock draft ever made for last year's draft had Tyler Warren going to the Colts. Everyone was right. Imagine that. And then you got Michael Pittman, who's solid. Defensively, this has been a pretty stout defense. I definitely think, before they made Sauce Gardner, they're one of those defenses that maybe just didn't have that top-tier, S-tier type guy. Like Latu's second-year guy to UCLA with 5 sacks is good. Buckner's always been a very good player, but he's, kind of downside of his career a little bit. We could use a little bit more in the sack department here. I think overall big picture. But this was a defense that's just maybe didn't have that star talent. The offense had the reemergence of Daniel Jones, great receiving weapons, and an MVP in Jonathan Taylor. And the defense was a solid defense. But you go out and you get Sauce Gardner. Now you have that blue chip, bona fide game changer. I love that move. And the Colts it's really weird for me, man, because my whole life, I've disliked the Colts. I never liked the Colts. I didn't like Peyton Manning. I hated Peyton Manning in real life. I hated Peyton Manning in Madden, where he would audible 95 times. And you try to have a quick game, and every single time you play the Colts, Peyton Manning would let the play clock go down to 2 seconds. And literally every time you'd play the Colts in Madden, that game was like 10 minutes longer than any other game. It's a very niche reason to hate the Colts. I've just never really liked the Colts. Kind of like the Colts, right? You got Shane Steichen, big Shane Steichen guy. Came from my Philadelphia Eagles. Was, an incredibly important person for, almost a Super Bowl, I guess you could say. But, like, the best offense maybe I've seen the Eagles have was when Shane Steichen was there. It's at least in the discussion. So I've always kind of been pulling for that. I like Quentin Nelson. He's pretty badass. I love Tyler Warren. That was so sick that they went out and got him. Who doesn't like Jonathan Taylor, right? Josh Downs, I'm a big fan. Alec Pierce for the brand. I think the redemption, I'm always, from a rebuild standpoint, like that's my mentality, a redemption for Daniel Jones. Never was a huge Daniel Jones fan when he was in the NFC East, but then went off, was a little pissed off that they benched Anthony Richardson as a Florida Gator fan. Man, I just didn't see the big picture, because the big picture is that Shane Steichen is a great offensive-minded coach. He got Daniel Jones playing at maybe it's not fair to say it's an elite level, but he has Daniel Jones playing like a guy that's like top 10 quarterback. Like if you're like honestly rating the quarterbacks in the NFL right now from right now for the next 5 years, like Daniel Jones is probably in that like 8 to 12 range, which is like insane to say, because before the season Daniel Jones would have been bottom 10, bottom 7, bottom 8, somewhere in that range. So that is an awesome success story, and I'm always all about that. Then you go on the defensive side of the ball. You've drafted pretty well, right? You go out and you get Tui Maliau. You've had Grover Stewart. Latu was a nice pick. Bynum and Cross are putting it together. And then you go out, and he's like, well, they made the trade to get DeForest Buckner a couple years ago. Made the trade to get Sauce Gardner. And, you got Kenny Moe, one of the best, most underrated nickels. And you know what I'm a big fan of, dude? Get a little personal here. Obviously, Jim Irsay passing away. Jim Irsay was quite the character. But at the end of the day, he was a very relatable owner. A lot of owners aren't really relatable. And I kind of feel like Jim Irsay was one of the more relatable owners in the NFL. He passes. His MILF daughter has taken over this team. She's on the sidelines all the time. And, like, it's just like the vibes have immediately changed around this Colts team. I have the best, my favorite team, the Philadelphia Eagles, without a shadow of a doubt, it's the best ran team from an owner to general manager in the NFL. And I think if you had to find the big, like, up and coming, this could be one to watch. This could be a situation to watch. It is the MILF running the Colts. I'm in, man. This is like one of those things, like, if I pass, like, I have a daughter. Incredible. If I can look down from, you know, whatever you believe happens when you die. If I'm looking up from the worms or down from whatever, and I can see my daughter come over and just start rebuilding teams and taking over the family legacy here on the C4 channel and doing better than what I was doing, that'd be scenes. That'd be the absolute icing on the cake of my life. And that is what's happening right now with the Colts. And I'm here for that. The vibes are at an all-time high. And over the next 5 seasons, for Jim, for the hot MILF on the sideline, we are going to bring this team a Super Bowl. So we have $62 million of salary cap, and we have to address the elephant in the room. Is Daniel? You gotta stay with Daniel Jones. I'm not gonna go 5 years because I don't know if Daniel Jones is gonna play like he does in real life, but you gotta give him at least like a 3-year leash to see if you can kind of roll this IRL momentum into success here in Madden. And if he doesn't, you know, we will have at least like the final year of this rebuild, year 5. An opportunity to maybe do something different at quarterback. But unfortunately with that move, this is not a team that I don't think from the salary cap standpoint, this Colts team was like prepared to have a $100 million quarterback on the books because of that deal. Like Jermaine Pratt, no. Nick Cross, maybe there was interest, but can't really bring him back. Braden Smith at right tackle, one of the most reliable, consistent linemen. Versatile, played guard and tackle. Don't have the funds. Quiddy pay no interest. Like Alec Pierce might make the most sense just because there is interest there. So we'll go 4-year, 38.8 for Alec Pierce, who honestly, like surprisingly, is like one of the most consistent deep threat wide receivers in the league. Can we get Nick Cross? Maybe. Nice. Okay. Serviceable, because like for Quiddy Pay, that is Tuli Maliau can be a successor. Hidden dev, rookie from Ohio State. Right? We can have Tuli Maliau. We don't have a successor for Braden Smith. So that's kind of like the one, like, damn. Can't keep everybody. We're gonna need to find a new right tackle. So I was a little worried with like we're inheriting a very good start for the Colts. Maybe we're like the wheels are gonna fall off once we get into the sim. Beat the Chiefs, then beat the brakes off the Houston Texans. We're Josh Downs, 11 catches, 165 yards, and 3 touchdowns. What? And we actually can parlay this into a breakout for Jonathan Taylor. Well, Jesus. I don't think he's hitting 3 touchdowns. We have something a little bit more manageable there. Probably do 150. Let's go. I mean, him being a super, he should get X Factor anyways, based off of, you know, the trajectory that he's on from his stats. He almost has fucking 20 touchdowns. We're playing with house money. Let's see if we can against the Jags. Nice little divisional game. Team that's, you know, this is a rivalry. Fuck. Oh, there we go. Well, we're already at 10 wins, so like I think we've probably, at worst, secured a wild card spot. But unfortunately, no breakout for Jonathan Taylor yet. Lost a couple games, then 52 points against the Niners. A Daniel Jones offensive play. Now, seeing this one time, the big worry about giving the money, because you have to from like a realistic story standpoint. You got to pay Daniel Jones and see if you can continue this career redemption. But there's a Madden reality of like, sometimes just aren't good. They'll never be good in Madden. Knowing that Daniel Jones has a 4 touchdown, almost 300, well, over 300 with the rushing yard performance. Anyway, in a Madden sim, I'm very optimistic, man. We're going to put it all together here with him. So we inherited an 8-2 team, right? Or 7-2. 7-2. And we go 12-5. So it's pretty good. Had a little bit of like up and down wins and loss, peaks and valleys. Happy that we could kind of sweep the Texans there with a great performance, 35-7. And we are in the wild card round against the 12-5 Patriots, probably the other team in the NFL. That's the big surprise. I think it's definitely between the Colts and Patriots. Patriots have Drake May, someone that's been Drake May QB1 since he was in that draft. It's not, it's more shocking from the Colts side of things. I think the Colts going into the season probably had overall like a better roster than the Patriots, but the Patriots always had Drake May. So it was like, oh, he could carry them and be pretty good now that they got Mike Vrabel. I don't think anybody thought the Colts would be good with Daniel Jones at quarterback. But with these two teams, look at all the greens. Colts finish with the number 1 offense, top 5 passing offense, number 2 rushing offense, a almost top 5 defense with the number 2 rush defense. Patriots also very impressive, but for us, we end up winning the AFC South 12-5. We are the runners-up to the Denver Broncos, who went 13-4. Man, are they boring to watch. Look at that. Jonathan Taylor finishes as the leading rusher in the league. Daniel Jones, 4th in yards, 3rd in touchdowns. 4,100 yards, 33 touchdowns to 8 picks. We have Mr. Jonathan Taylor, 1,600 yards, 19 touchdowns. Daniel Jones had 7 rushing touchdowns, so 40 total for Indianapolis Jones. Josh Down, we had no 1,000-yard receivers, which I don't love the vibes of that. But if you're not going to go for 1,000, you throw in 14 touchdowns for Josh Downs in the mix. That's pretty good. A tight end that could almost get 900 yards. Like that should probably get Tyler Warren Offensive Rookie of the Year. Pierce was solid. Pittman's probably the one guy on this offense from like a contract standpoint. I'd rather not. I think we could go with Pearson Downs down the stretch, but he's a good player to have. It's not a problem having him here. And then you have Jonathan Taylor, who threw in another 400 yards, so he went over 2,000, and he had 23 total touchdowns on the year. Defensively, we got 11.5 sacks from Latu, 10 from DeForest Buckner, 7 sacks from Grover Stewart. Would have liked to see maybe a little bit more out of Tui Maliau. Interception numbers are pretty good. Bynum with 3, Latu with 2, Kenny Moe with 2, a couple singles there as well. Because running backs don't get any respect. Jonathan Taylor probably should get it, but in real life he probably won't get it just because he's a running back. Saquon doesn't get it. Jonathan Taylor won't get it. But Daniel Jones, 3rd in MVP voting. Vrabel gets Coach of the Year. Maybe a robbery that Shane Steichen isn't at least number 2. Let alone winning it outright for the success he had with his turnaround. Offensive Player of the Year goes to Jonathan Taylor. Daniel Jones at 2. Honestly, in hindsight, Daniel Jones is on a normal dev trade. I would have rather him get as many awards as possible so that we could see if we can get him up to superstar after just one big year versus only going up to a star dev. But, I'm not going to be too greedy because that likely means Jonathan Taylor will be an X factor at the end of this season. Oh, Tyler Warren didn't win offensive. That's a tough one, though. Genty's a beast. Even behind a dog shit Raiders line. Daniel Jones wins quarterback of the year. Jonathan Taylor wins running back of the year. I suppose for what it's worth, Josh Downs was runner-up for wide receiver there. Usually don't see that for a wide receiver that didn't even break 1,000 yards. Here we go, playoff football. Back. Who's that? Jeff Saturday. Back at Lucas Oil. Let's see, man. The battle of the breakouts. What team is more sustainable? What team? This is a rivalry, man. Going back to the Brady Manning years. Colts and Patriots. Be nice to get at least a playoff win here, but man, Patriots are like consistently pretty good in the Madden sim. They are a team that you often will see when you're doing an AFC rebuild in the playoffs. Can't say the same for the Colts. Just, yeah, that is... Whew. I think the hot MILF of an owner. I'm just gonna assume she's pretty much GM as well. We're gonna need a shrewd draft here. So we're not gonna have a lot of salary cap to make a bunch of crazy moves. And you don't love seeing Daniel Jones off a hot year put up that type of performance. Truth be told, Drake May did not look particularly good, but he turned the football over. Jonathan Taylor, the rush there, the touchdown defensively, not a single sack. So it's just, hey, I guess the good news, everybody sucked. It wasn't just like, Daniel Jones sucked. Everybody, even Jonathan Taylor, 62 yards and touchdowns below his standards. Everybody sucked at home. And for starting out with a cheesy head start, with this team being, what, 7-2, a humbling end to year one. So maybe shockingly, first Super Bowl goes to the Jags. So it always stings a little bit more when a team in our rebuilds wins and it's in our own division. So the pressure is on. We thought we were the story. We thought the Colts were the breakout story, not the Jags going on a Cinderella run and winning a Super Bowl. But we have some great news offensively. Tyler Warren, is he a superstar like regular? Did we get him to go up a depth chart? We did. So Tyler Warren is a superstar, even though he didn't win Offensive Rookie of the Year. He probably should have. Jonathan Taylor, pretty much, you get all the running back awards. He is now a superstar X Factor, rightfully so. For Daniel Jones, like at that really, really awkward age in a Madden sim, 29 years old at quarterback, where you're kind of like not really going to regress, but you're not going to develop a whole lot quicker. We get the double dev trade increase for getting passer rating leader. He got dev trade started at probably, that's based off of his stats. And then for winning quarterback of the year, they give him the superstar dev. So I'm not expecting, even with this boost of having the dev trade here, like crazy development. I'm just hoping he doesn't regress too bad, and we could have him float for the most of this new 3-year contract. Low 80s. On the defensive side, we lose the superstar dev on Charvarius Ward, gain an X Factor on DeForest Buckner, gain a star dev on Nick Cross, who we just gave a new contract. Sauce keeps his X Factor. So nothing too crazy there, but not bad. Bad news, well, good news, because free agency almost always is terrible. We only have $5 million. Salary cap is not in a particularly good spot. So Quiddy Pay, Braden Smith, Jermaine Pratt. We're going to, Gator pays me, but it makes so much sense. We got to decline the 5th-year option on Anthony Richardson. Like, honestly, I see if we can trade him. I think the Rams and getting him paired with Sean McVay would be the best landing spot. I think a realistic landing spot if I was the Rams. So I'm going to send Anthony Richardson, and to get this deal across the line, I had to send a 5th-round pick this year and a 5th-round pick next year, and we're able to get a 2026 3rd-rounder, because with no 1st-round pick this year for the Colts because of the Sauce Gardner trade, let's get as many assets as we can in that 2nd and 3rd round. We also have Jalen Jones here, who's in a contract year. There's no chance. Good player, 76, 24, has some upside. We're just not going to be able to afford it. So let's get some value right now. I'm just looking more so teams that are interested, because most of those trades, I definitely think, we just don't need Winston. That's a little unrealistic. I'm not going to just, because I need a tackle, cheese for a dev trade tackle there. Or do I? Fuck it. Let's do it. Well, we have our successor for Braden Smith. We lost at right tackle. We're going to bring in Charles Grant, 72 star def. So now we go into this draft. No 1st-round pick, but, let's just auto-generate this lineup here. Feel pretty good offensively. If there's like a guard, potentially, I don't know about Goncalves, if we're going to make him, like a long-term option there. Defensively, could get younger at defensive tackle. Stewart and Buckner are kind of the old heads. Could go and find a linebacker if linebacker's BPA. This team's ready to go, man. Just as a curiosity, because we can't go into free agency, I'd be so bummed if it was a good year. And luckily, it's your classic, if you're looking for a couple 30-year-olds or running backs or punters, it's a good year of free agency. So it's a good year to sit on the sideline. So we had to sit and wait all the way to the end, late 2nd round. And look at the players that are available. We want linebacker, right? And look at all the freaking linebackers. 35, lost to the Jets. 36, Styles to the Saints. 37, Hill to the Raiders. 38, Allen to it looked like when we snuck into the 2nd round, it's like, okay, baby, we're going to get something nice at linebacker. And then to rub it in, look at that, the last 2 picks. Or 2 of the last 3. Torian York, 52 to the Panthers. Harold Perkins, 54 to the Chargers. A disgusting 2nd round for the board to fall here for our beloved Colts. We could go guard. I think Bortolini at center's fine. Brailsford would be interesting, but he's way too small for us to be like, let's draft him and play him at guard. So our attention shifts towards a defensive tackle. Got a couple interesting names there. Lee Hunter, Tim Keenan, Zane Durant. Linebacker. Could be just this guy, Jacob Rodriguez, a tackle machine from Texas Tech. Letter grades look great. A zone, B man, B pursuit, B block shed, A tackle, A play rec. Couple nice options here at corner as well. But now screw it. We need a linebacker. Jacob Rodriguez, come on down. 72 in true value at 55. Don't love that. No dev trait. Don't love that. I will say from a corner perspective, Malik Muhammad still be on the board from Texas. That guy had some first round hype not too long ago. The only bummer is like we just we got Sauce. We have Ward's on a 2-year deal. So like our top 2 corners are locked in for the next 2 years. And then you got Kenny Moore on the slot. There's just not really a path. So I think I'd be looking here at Zane Durant maybe. Trey Wright at pass rush. Kind of like our pass rush right now. Yeah. I think that's probably the move here. We'll go Zane Durant, Penn State. See if we can chase the dev trade on a big-time athlete. 80 in true value at number 87. No dev trade. I think we follow the Colts method. Another thing I like about the way the Colts have been building is they just go after the freaks. Like, we use Raz. We talk about Raz score on X and when we get to draft season. Colts, I think Philly's number 2. I think Colts is number 1. In terms of just like, fuck it, draft the athletes, figure it out later. That is what DeCario Davis is at corner. 6'4", 4.3 speed. See if he can figure it out. 113 in true value at 95. How are we not getting any dev traits? All right, 4th round. What do we got here? Any? You know what? Evan Stewart's an ultimate buy low guy. Freak of nature athlete. Injuries at Oregon. 47 in true value, 119. There's the dev trait. There's a look at our draft recap that was, felt like an all right draft. Decent players. Probably not decent ceilings due to dev traits. We got in the 7th round Zvada at kicker at Michigan, 74. Marvin Jones Jr., Eric Gentry, some death moves. Our lone dev trait player here, Evan Stewart, the wide receiver from Oregon. Suffered injury, maybe a surprise declare for 2026, but we'll gamble on, obviously, just the athletic traits. It wasn't probably the best combination of, like, speed and, the 20-yard shuttle and all that stuff for agility. So he looks fun. 73 in the 4th round dev trait is awesome value. DeCario Davis, another freak of nature athlete, 70, but he has the normal dev. Zane Durant's probably going to be the most athletic D lineman in this year's class, 71 with a normal. And then we got Rodriguez, 72 normal, but he's a linebacker. Linebacker's probably the best position if you're drafting on the defensive side of the ball and you're getting a starter, because from a dev trait standpoint, get a lot of tackles, probably will go up dev trait. So I'm very optimistic Rodriguez will develop nicely for us. So midway point of year 2, not a terrible start, man. 5-3. We got a little bit of a win streak here at the midseason. Nice big matchup here. Good test to see how we can play on the road against the 6 and sim this one. I want to see how the Ravens are 6-2. I imagine these are 2 of the top dogs trying to battle out for the 1 seed. We lose by a touchdown, close, but no cigar. But look at the ratings, man. The number 2 offense, both pass yards, rush yards are good. Defense could certainly be better. Take a look at our salary cap situation. Has it got a little bit better? Oh, well, here we go. $113 million. Jonathan Taylor, 3-year deal. Absolutely. Premier player. Got to keep him. We have Quentin Nelson, Josh Downs, DeForest Buckner, Pittman, Kenny Moe, Grover Stewart. Starting to see why we have so much money available. I think we try to keep Nelson. $71 million done. I like Josh Downs a lot. I'm a big fan, so I think we'll give him a 3. I'd rather pay in this situation I'm telling you right now. We're going to pay Josh Downs. Probably $42 million gets that done. We're going to let Michael Pittman walk. I think Kenny Moore should probably finish his career as a Colt. And then it comes down to Forrest Buckner versus Buckner's 32, Grover Stewart's 32. The 2 vets, the 2 big dogs. How much? What does that do? Okay. So I think we should be able to get. This might not be a crazy rebuild for bringing in big free agents. We because of the state of our salary cap, we have 20. We'll probably have around 20 million bucks after we get Josh Downs signed in. We'll let Pittman walk, so we'll need potentially another wide receiver. But we got Evan Stewart, the hidden dev wide receiver out of Oregon. He could just, evolve. We go Josh Downs, Alec Pierce, Stewart as that wide receiver 3. And then we're really just going into the offseason. We need another defensive tackle. I don't know if maybe Zane Durant, the rookie we drafted out of Penn State, can develop into a starter. Or, well, I think I just thought ahead, actually. I lucked into this one. I set my focus scouting this year for the 2027 class at defensive tackle. So we should be able to find a Grover Stewart replacement. And Evan Stewart's our wide receiver 4, but he's developed pretty nicely. He's already a scheme fit. We got him out to a 77. And I'm thinking if we're deciding not to go with Michael Pittman, we might need to move Evan Stewart up the depth chart here a little bit, just to maximize his XP as a rookie. We bounce back off the Ravens loss with a big win against the Steelers with a Daniel Jones offensive player. That's so sick. That Daniel Jones, the resurrection, revival, whatever you want to call it, we're seeing in real life, is, for the most part, translating fairly well in Madden. That's not usually the case. And at the end of year 2, I mean, you can't make this up. We get the Jets in the first round of the playoffs. Almost, we have to see, what did they do with the haul, right? They got at least the first of the first round pick from that Sauce Gardner trade. Take a look at the roster. They got Ruben Bain, so that would have been not our pick, because obviously we made the playoffs. They got Ruben Bain, and maybe Chris Johnson, the corner, very talented corner from San Diego State, kind of a sleeper. You'd have to be an absolute draft sicko to know about him. But he likely was. They got Jonah Coleman, very nice running back from Washington. Like, he probably wouldn't have been a part of our picks. Lawson, I don't think he's going in the first round. So, yeah, went out and got a corner. I respect it. We did our own Jets rebuild. We got a corner. We got Jermod McCoy from Tennessee. But look at that. Ruben Bain's already the second best player on that team. We got to win. There's no way. There's no freaking way. We go one and done last year. And then this year, after winning our second straight divisional title, we go one and done again, losing to the Jets. Take a look at our player stats. Daniel Jones, firmly, played like a top 5 quarterback. Now, interceptions up a little bit. Don't love that. 4,000 yards, 34 touchdowns. Ain't too shabby at all. Jonathan Taylor continues to be an absolute animal. 1,400 yards, 20 touchdowns. 2,000-yard receivers, both Josh Downs and Alec Pierce going over 1,000. Tyler Ward, solid year. I don't know. My expectations weren't necessarily that of you need to constantly keep getting your dev traits up until you get X Factor, but that's a strong year right there. Also, Jonathan Taylor, for Jonathan Taylor to get 400 yards and another 26 touchdowns on the year, we might have an MVP, but I don't know. You have to have pretty much an absurd season, I think, for a running back to get MVP. The rookie Jacob Rodriguez from Texas Tech, 143 tackles. We drafted him on that normal dev. We're like, nah, it's not the end of the world. Linebacker's probably the best position if you want to try to chase a dev trait. And I'd be very surprised after those numbers if he is not off that normal dev trait when all is said and done. 12.5 sacks from Grover Stewart. We got 11 from DeForest Buckner. Of course, Grover Stewart, when we decided that we'd go with Buckner. Stewart, in a contract year, plays his best football. 7.5 sacks for Latu. 5 from Tui Maliau. Interception numbers really good. Cam Bynum with 5 picks. Kenny Moe with 4 and 2 for Charvarius Ward. Just letting me know if you have an S-tier running back season still in the eyes of Madden, 9th in MVP voting. But Jonathan Taylor does win Offensive Player of the Year and Running Back of the Year. We also get Cam Bynum winning Defensive Back of the Year for our award winners with Kenny Moe right there in the top 3 as well. But this game here, Lucas Oil State, it's a big optics game, all right? We're clearly rebuilding the Colts right now because they just finessed and stole away the Jets' best player. We can't lose to the team that we finessed. We can't lose to the team that we took their best player and we gave them a pick. Come on. I'm not loving this. I'm not loving the fact that we're not really pulling away here. But it's an ugly game. And sometimes you gotta win ugly. I'd love to sit and be like, look, Danny Dimes 5 touchdowns. The redemption tour is fully on. But there's gotta be times that you might just have to feed the ball to Jonathan Taylor and play good defense. And that game was a little closer than what I would like to see, knowing that they have Justin Fields still as their quarterback. But we also just rebuilt the Jets, and we saw that Justin Fields not a terrible quarterback. Justin Fields not nearly as bad in real life as he is in, or not really as bad in Madden as he is in real life. Daniel Jones in this matchup, 2 touchdowns, no picks. We'll ignore the completion percentage. 90 yards and a touchdown for Jonathan Taylor. 2 touchdowns, Josh Downs. Defensively, we get a pick by Nick Cross. No pass rush at all going on. Sauce Gardner against his whole team with 11 total tackles. What the fuck kind of playoff run is this? We get the Jets in the wild card, and we get the Cleveland Browns in the divisional round. The Browns getting carried by their defense. What? How the hell did they make it here? They drafted Dante Moore out of Oregon, which we might have to update the draft classes now. I think I saw this morning. I woke up on Saturday morning saying that he's going to return, so he'd be a member of the 2027 class. But okay, I mean, even then, okay. We got Makai Lemon, beast. Just watched actually last night, Friday night. He went off for USC against Northwestern. Such a good player. If you don't know and you need a wide receiver, definitely look at Makai Lemon. But I've yet to see a thing offensively that leads me to believe that, like, oh man, the Browns are a win away from the AFC Championship game. And even defensively, only 9.5 sacks for Myles Garrett. They got Owe. No, dude, we have got to make the most of our opportunity here. There's no way we should not make the championship game. The fucking Browns. Let's go, Lucas Oil Stadium at home, too. Right? If somehow we had to go travel to Cleveland, had to deal with the dog pound. Maybe the vibes would be tough to overcome. We are the home team in this matchup, and it's looking like whatever team's going to score a touchdown first is going to win this game. 6-6 is gross. Come on, Daniel Jones. Oh, there we go, baby. Taking it. Well, I'm not going to say taking it over. We got a couple more field goals to boot, but 2 touchdowns scored for the Colts in the second half. And maybe we're about to win the ugliest Super Bowl run of all time. Jets win ugly. Browns in the divisional win ugly. I don't know who else we could meet in this playoff run. Like, can we get like the Jags probably could be next? I don't know. Daniel Jones, at least he played efficient football. 70% completion percentage. Didn't put the football in harm's way. Jonathan Taylor, very solid. Tyler Warren, over 100 yards. Defensively, there we go. Second half, Tui Maliau. We got a couple other pressures there. We got Cam Bynum, DB of the year, with an interception on Dante Moore. And the Colts, in year 2, headed to the AFC Championship game. All right, we got a tough team here. We got a tough team. It's a battle, right? Baltimore Colts, Indianapolis Colts. There's a historic, natural rivalry there between these two franchises. And holy shit, a lot of green on both sides. Number 1 rushing offense against our number 3 overall offense. This is a top 5 defense. Number 1 rushing defense against our top 10 defense. Certainly an argument to be made. The 2 best teams on paper here in the AFC. We're going to have to earn it, man, if we want to get in the Super Bowl. We need Daniel Jones to play a lot better than what he has for these first 2 playoff games. I'll be honest, Russ, last rebuild with the Jets, spoiler, it's been out long enough, didn't win the Super Bowl. Goes down as a failure of rebuild. So I'd love for the Colts to find a way to win. Like, let's cash in an early Super Bowl victory here in this rebuild. Would love to see it. And that's an outstanding opening drive. 7 points, took up most of the first quarter. And drive it again, 2 touchdowns. Don't choke it. Come on, boys. Hold them to field goals only. Points. Big end of game drive. If there's a third down here, I'll just say I want to hop in. Holy shit. All right. A legit win. That's what we needed. Beat 2 absolute scrub teams, and then against like a legitimate, like if you beat them, you should feel at least going. Like if we would have beat someone bad again, I'd be like, I don't know, man. Once we see whoever the hell represents the NFC in the Super Bowl, it could be a rude awakening. No, we could beat the Baltimore Ravens. We could beat anybody on the AFC or the NFC side. They are very difficult to beat. But again, 3rd straight playoff game. We're not necessarily in love with the performance that we have from Daniel Jones. Efficient football, sure. Did get the rushing touchdown. We're just running the football well. We're running the football. We're playing good defense. Love seeing the rookie Evan Stewart, who we need to be the successor for, well, again, he didn't even make a freaking catch here. Michael Pittman. He's coming along nicely. Defensively, we got Zane Durant, rookie with a sack. He's looking like Zane Durant's got to step up and be our successor for Grover Stewart, who we're letting walk into free agency. Buckner with a sack, a half sack from the rookie Jacob Rodriguez. We had no turnovers there, a couple PBUs. It's a quality win, though. Gives me a lot of confidence that we might, we can win it this year. And the Super Bowl is set in a game where, the Rams are good. I know they got a good scheme, good system, good coach. But on paper, we are noticeably better in every single category. Team overall, team offense, team defense. You look at just the green numbers. They get a slight advantage in terms of passing yards per game. But in every other category, we are significantly better. So this would be, if we're setting the line, big favorites, Colts, to win the Super Bowl at Super Bowl Atlanta. The Rams still have Matthew Stafford, so they have the advantage at quarterback. And you got Anthony Richardson probably feeding him tips and tricks on how to beat this team. Kyron Williams is solid, but advantage certainly goes to us in the run game. I think, advantage to them, talent on the wide receiver side, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams. I think overall, advantage us on the offensive line. Maybe it's a little bit of a push. Defense, holy shit, look at the sacks. 18.5 for Jared Verse. Kobe Turner with 11. Byron Young with 11. Fisk with 7.5. So pass rush advantage to the Rams. Secondary advantage to the Colts. Yes, the green numbers and the team player ratings certainly favor the Colts. But this game on, I think 85s across the board for the Rams might be understating the talent that they have on that team. And for us in this matchup, another element to this rebuild is, in a lot of rebuilds, we're ready and expecting to peak, like year 4, year 5. It's kind of inverse here because Daniel Jones is like 30, right? So Daniel Jones is pretty much as good as he's going to get early in this rebuild. So if the argument is quarterbacks are what can determine whether or not you win a Super Bowl, years like 1 through 3 is the window that Daniel Jones is going to give us the best chance. Years 4, and then also year 4 is a contract year for him. So that if we had to get to year 5 with no success, maybe we got to look elsewhere for a quarterback. This is probably going to be our best shot. And this is a damn good Rams team who insta-score immediately. And we need to come down here, respond. Let's go. Touchdown good, guys. 7-7. Just don't want to fall behind. We are not a team that can play from behind. We want to be able to run the football with Jonathan Taylor. We want to be able to play some relatively respectful defense. Touchdown, 2-point conversion for the Rams to tie this up. We have a chance. This game's going to be going overtime. Okay, I'm not gonna. We're gonna skip. We're gonna slow down the moments. That's what we're gonna do. Okay, we got a 3rd and 1. Run it. Okay, don't love that. Don't love these 2 straight runs for some reason. Like that is, what is this play calling? We don't trust our passing offense. Great gong punt by Sanchez. See if we can keep him pinned deep. 2 yards, Kyron Williams. 3rd and 2 coming up. Oof. It's a hell of a drive here so far. And I mean, you'd trust Matt Stafford to organize something. You'd trust Sean McVay to have a scheme system in place here. 3rd and 4. Got to get a stop here. Yes! Wait, what? 10-yard penalty against the offense. They're going to punt it, right? There we go. Can they punt it? We only have to get into field goal range. Field goal will win it. 7 yards, Jonathan Taylor. 7 yards to the rookie, Evan Stewart. Okay, a little penalty. It's fine. Boom, get most of that back. 9 yard, Jonathan Taylor. Big shot play. Josh Downs, 20 yards. That is our wide receiver 1. We are already in a field goal range. 6 yards run, Daniel Jones. No penalties, nothing stupid. Boom. 5 yard run, Jonathan Taylor. Boom. What do we got here? 10-yard run, Jonathan Taylor. That is a gassed and exhausted Rams defense. And it is done. Year 2. GM Owner Milf gets the job done. Puts all the pieces in place. Shane Steichen's second trip to a Super Bowl, not a failure. Like when he made it with the Eagles. Fuck yeah, man. We needed that. I feel like, what, 2 of our last 3 or 2 of our last 4 rebuilds, we have not got check marks. We have not got our Super Bowls to make me feel good about it. And the fact that we get this now, right? So that year 3, 4, and 5, we could try and keep this thing going with Daniel Jones. Try to make this maybe into a little bit of a dynasty rebuild. But you got the one. Feel good story. We did it for Jim. Daniel Jones, redemption arc completed. I don't know if our scheme's ever going to really facilitate him becoming like an MVP and getting the individual success, but finding a way to get that team success. Finding a way to maybe be our Super Bowl MVP, maybe the most important of the MVPs. Let's see, almost 70% completion percentage, $185, 2 touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor did have a pretty good game. But, yeah, I'd say, classic NFL. Maybe give slight advantage to Jonathan Taylor. But if it's close, you got to give it to the quarterback, and we're going to give it to him. Daniel Jones, Super Bowl MVP in year 2 of this 5-year rebuild. Let's go. Oh, look, the game actually did give it to him. So nice. So looking at dev traits, Daniel Jones is an X factor? The hell? Huh. Dude, like, did he? Did Daniel Jones get that because he won Super Bowl MVP? Or is this, like, I could be tripping. It's early Saturday morning. Like, this Super Bowl week is when you get everyone gets their dev trade, right? I would almost be like the fact that we got that Super Bowl win, Offensive Player of the Week, that's what gave him his X Factor. Because based off of, like, season stats, I didn't see, I guess he was top 5. Well, that's, okay, sick. We could work with that. No other dev traits on the offense. Defensively, we got Buckner's an X Factor. Sauce Gardner loses his X Factor. But we gain a superstar on Kenny Moore. We gain a superstar on DB of the Year, Cam Bynum. And I'm very, very surprised Jacob Rodriguez did not get a dev trade. He almost had 200 tackles as a rookie. So we have $34 million remaining. We still have an open-ended contract offer here with Josh Downs. You what? What's the franchise tag? 40. Okay, no. Okay, we're going to decline the option on Latu because we'll give him a contract extension. He's been our best pass rusher. Dude, Grover Street. He led our team in sacks. Right? That's my argument there. 1-year rental. Led our team in sacks. Still have enough money. I'm going to try and get Josh Downs back on the open market. I want him to be a part of this thing here again. But I feel like leads the team in sacks, can't let him walk. Now I'm going to look through the roster. Like, is there like some cap whales we can get rid of here? Like a couple guys that are worth like $1 million at a shot, but like nothing that's, of course, owner MILF wouldn't have terrible contracts. She runs, like I got a couple $1 million here and there for like just like expensive UDFA guys that we've been signing. But I'm not seeing like what's Zaire Franklin. I mean, there's some money there, but he's still a solid starting linebacker for us. Again, well, there's Ward. There's money to be had there. He's a 90 rated corner. Damn. Okay. Fuck. We might not be able to bring back Josh Downs. Josh Downs is looking for $15 million a year. I have 19 on my roster. I don't know. I think we're gonna have to. I don't think we can afford it. I think we're gonna have to keep. Like that's like as low of like a salary buffer that I kind of want to be operating on. I didn't love the fact that like we had $5 million starting with, talking about contract negotiations. That classic Dallas didn't re-sign Quinnen Williams. Shit, yeah. We're going to be looking for the best wide receiver available, I guess, to pick 32. Is a great year at the top end to need a wide receiver. Jeremiah Smith, Ryan Williams. We drafted Ryan Williams in our Jets rebuild. It's going to be like, how far are these guys going to fall? I think Craver from A&M could be interesting. Like, we want to replace Josh Downs. We want some more speed. There's no way Cam Coleman would be available. We have Lesko, Nick Marsh. I think we can take a look at Ryan Wingo. I know he's a former 5-star. Trey Wilson from my Gators. I guess we could, like, de facto who ran the fastest. Who we got? What do you guys? We got 4.43 on Craver. That's actually probably dogging speed. 4.31 on Ryan Wingo at 6'2". Looks pretty good. 4.41 on Cooper. 4.39 on Trey Wilson. Let's go Wesco. All right, so based on the information, Craver is a first rounder, not brutal value like as is for Wingo and Wesco. And I think one of these guys will likely be our top pick. Oh, we don't have a first. It's the Jets. And then Wingo and Wesco go 61-62. Craver 51 to the Jets. Of course they get him. Jacoby Lane, Cam Coleman. Fuck, who's left? Trey Wilson? I can get a Gator, maybe. Trey Wilson's still there? Okay, we got Braylon Staley from Tennessee. Well, Omar Cooper from Indiana. I'm going to go Trey Wilson here. Oh, the rating looks shit. I can't be Gator bias here. These aren't my classes. I mean, Indiana, right? 4.41 is not bad. At least he has B deep at running, C catching. Let's do it. Omar Cooper Jr. from Indiana to the best team from Indiana. Top 100 player. Yes! Let's go. Or I'm going to follow it up. We gotta add some wide receiver depth here. 84 on Trey Wilson. And another dev trait. Gator bias. Let's go. Worked out this time. Take a look at our draft recap. We end up getting, depth moves here on the offensive line. We got a punter because we need a new punter to take over for Sanchez. We have Williams Winieri. I believe he was like a former 5-star. Missouri, I believe, 68 normal. But we needed wide receivers. Ratings aren't crazy, but I love the ceilings. Both Omar Cooper Jr. and Mr. Trey Wilson from the Florida Gators. Both dev traits. And it's cool for Cooper, Indiana. Obviously, the resurrection of that football program to be joining the Indianapolis Colts off a Super Bowl, a chance for something special here. All right, so the midway point of year number 3, hot start for the Colts. We are 5-1, looking to defend our Super Bowl crown. Get a nice win here over the Chargers, in which a Jay Rodriguez. Very nice to see that, man. It is absolutely paramount that we missed out on a Jacob Rodriguez dev trade increase last year. So if he keeps playing at a high level, there's no way he's going to be denied back-to-back seasons. Actually, I'm literally on my other screen right now. I'm watching Texas Tech and BYU, and Rodriguez is an absolute stud. Taking a look at our contracts here, we have $79 million, which, it's a pretty good spot. Let's get Latu here on a 2-year deal, lock him in for the rest of the rebuild. We have Ward, Bortolini. What's Bortolini looking at from a cap hit standpoint? That's not brutal if he'll take that. Probably $19 million. I don't think we're too far. That just locks in a center for the rest of this rebuild. I think it certainly helps that we've won our Super Bowl, so it's not like I got to be somewhat conscientious of our salary cap. At the end of 5, we are going to pretty much be there. So, this guy, Goncalves, get him locked in. So I think we'll come back on Bortolini. I think for Ward, I don't know, man. Yeah, I guess 1-year rental. Get Bortolini locked in. We get Bortolini signed up. We'll still have what? 25? Yeah, we'd have enough to maybe make a big splash move if there's one player. So at the end of year 3, a dominating 15-2 from the Colts. That's a lot of green for NFL ratings. We have a big win. Just a nice little, going up against some of the best in the Buffalo Bills season finale. And it's Daniel Jones getting an offensive player of the week performance. Jonathan Taylor, 3rd leading rusher. Daniel Jones playing at an incredibly high level as an X factor. 4,100 yards passing, 36 touchdowns to 8 picks. We got, again, another just outstanding, consistent, dominating play from Jonathan Taylor, which it's all you can ask for. Now, the rookie, Omar Cooper Jr. from Indiana, full disclosure, put him in the slot, 1,100 yards, but 16 touchdowns. We were not getting this production, you know. Josh Downs did have kind of a big year. He stepped in the Josh Downs role, and there was zero drop-off. And this was oh shit, I forgot we didn't have a first-round pick again because of the Sauce trade. Got a second-round wide receiver that picks up the production from Josh Downs. Evan Stewart, over 1,000 yards. Alec Pierce with a solid year. Tyler Warren with a really solid year. Defensively, Franklin was a tackle machine, had a lot of turnovers as well. Rodriguez was really solid. We had 10 sacks from DeForest Buckner, 7 from Grover Stewart, 5 from Tui Maliau, 3.5 for Latu. But he did have 19 TFL, so productive as a run defender. But giving him that contract extension, you'd love to see, and just really in this rebuild, good interception numbers, but our sacks have not been great. And all of our sacks, for the most part, have been coming from our defensive tackles. We have Daniel Jones just outside the top 5 in MVP voting here at number 6. But Shane Steichen wins his first Coach of the Year award. But it was a down year for Colts. The only award that we ended up winning was Omar Cooper winning Offensive Rookie of the Year. We got a fun little matchup here as we look to defend our Super Bowl crown. Nice little divisional rival, and it's the weird Madden roll that you never want to see. Divisional rival, below 500 playoff team. Literally every single thing should stay Colts win. And that is the time you need to be the most scared, because that's when the sim decides, oh, you think you know what's going to happen. Jags are going to score on every drive or something crazy like that. But the other side, to think about this positive, if we handle business, anytime you can send home a divisional rival like the Jacksonville Jaguars, yeah, it feels pretty good. But I don't know, man. Vibes are weird, dude. We were a very good team, but like nothing about like our stats said dominating team. And look at this. We're getting the shit kicked out of us. Come on, boys. Trying to defend the Super Bowl crown. We're giving up insta scores to the goddamn Jaguars, who dropped 40 fucking points. They're not even above 500. God fucking damn it. They went on and won the Super Bowl. Eaton. So stupid, man. So stupid. Well, Omar Cooper's a superstar dev now, which is cool. Tyler Warren's an X Factor, which is cool. Haven't seen and didn't see crazy regression out of Daniel Jones, who we're kind of at that point in time when regression should be hitting at 31. So that's also pretty cool. But the fact that we were literally the best team, oh man, it's just so dumb. Lose the X Factor on Buckner, gain the X Factor on Cam Bynum, gain the dev trait on Jacob Rodriguez, lose the superstar on Sauce Gardner, the man of the rebuild. Have a, what do you call it? Grover Stewart retires. Don't even have to worry about that contract extension. Just weird, man. Go 15-2, literally top 3 in every category. And then you have a below 500 Jags team go on, dust us. 5 touchdowns, Trevor Lawrence, and then they go win the Super Bowl. I feel like I'm in someone else's rebuild right now. For us, from a contract standpoint, we're going to decline the 5th-year option on Tyler Warren because we're going to pay him next offseason. Ty Franklin's an interesting one, but the regression has just hit him too hard. I think probably going to be better off, Jacob Rodriguez, got to be our new single caller on defense and either draft or find a more upside linebacker in free agency. We do have money, $51 million to spend. Are there going to be any players worth signing? We could go wide receiver. There's nothing really there. Feel pretty good about the state of our offensive line. Pass rush, it's just, I don't know, man. It's one of those teams and schemes that feels like the D tackles are where we need to invest our money. Not so much in the pass rushers. There's not a great market for D tackles. I did set our focus scouting this year for D tackles, so if there is a really good one in the draft, I think knowing that we only have 2 more years left, could be more open to trading some future draft picks to be aggressive to find the defensive tackle. Wouldn't hate a linebacker signing, but again, it's just kind of guys that probably wouldn't be much better than if we could hit on a linebacker in the draft. Like Colson there at 25, but he's 76, no dev trait. Yeah. We're probably good. Cooper DeJean's there. He is interested. He's interested in the Hot Mills running teams here. But I don't know. We did just re-sign Charvarius Ward. I think we should probably just hold on to this money. And then we can make a big move next offseason going into year 5 if we have a little sense of desperation. So it's nice to have a first-round pick for the first time in this rebuild. And with this selection, a couple positions in need. Linebacker to replace, the veteran. We have D-tackle to replace the veteran in Grover Stewart. It was one of those classes, like the D-tackles, all the first ones were clearly going in like the top 10. So we could just wait on like a nose tackle cheese, but I did go ahead and scout the edge rushers that could move inside the D-tackle. We have Goodwell here. We have Gray, looks like a nice value pick if we can kind of wait a little bit. Vickers is solid, depending if he's still available in the second round. Other position is linebacker. Don't love the linebackers that are available. We could go Sam here, Dukes, but then you get into like guys that don't have really any standout cover abilities. Look at the Mike linebackers, doesn't get a lot better. Like the best one might be this guy, Trey Morales, and you're not going to draft him in the first round. That'd be someone you want to wait till day 2. Corner would be another position, and it just doesn't look like a class that has like the perfect role of what you want. Maybe Bland because he has that B zone coverage, but we don't know his tackling. Like he'd be fine. But he's also not a scheme fit, which doesn't help things out. So we're honestly in a pretty weird spot here where our picks like clearly not good enough to get like a future first round pick. So like kind of we can go in on all in on next year's class. But we might just have to go Garay. B power move. Sub 4. I mean, does Vickers have a better, is he the best athlete? Give me an athlete that I feel good about. Decent letter grades there. And, like, even here, it's not getting better, dude. Oh, man. Let's just go Goodwell, I guess. All things considered, probably the safest pick. 44 in true value at 28. We do get the dev trait, so it's not a bad pick. Second round, we need a linebacker. Julius Johnson. None of the linebackers look bad. None of them look great. The tiebreakers, let's go with the best athlete of the bunch. Don't love this pick, but it's one of those picks that if we don't make it at the late second round, he's probably not going to be available late third round. Ends up being 46 in true value at number 60. Great athlete, but no dev trait. All right, we have corners and other need. I have a stud that I think will still be available. He's a late round pick. So let's double up at linebacker. Joey Howard here has also good letter grades. Ran the second fastest 40-yard dash, the second best athlete. And let's see, there's no way you put 2 really athletic linebackers without giving at least one a dev trait. And we get one here on Howard. All right, fourth round. Not the corner that I wanted. Of course, he would have went early, but a decent option here. We have Alden out of Ohio State, who has B-man coverage and a tackle, 2 things that tend to yield a pretty damn good player. Great athlete, first in the bench, first in the vert, first in the broad, first in the shuttle. Should be decent. 64 in true value at 124. Jarek Alden, but no dev trait. So take a look at our draft recap. Feel pretty good, all things considered. I kind of let late day 3 go to the board. Trust the board. We get Eli Brackett, a hidden dev nose tackle cheese. Can't take full credit for that because my board was really shot after the Alden selection. 73 normal. Howard 72 with a dev trait. Johnson 74 normal. And we get Goodwell 74 and locked out there with a dev trait. But I just want to confirm here that there was no clear and obvious like BPA that we passed on. We weren't even considering a center. Dallas got an absolute steal in the second round. But the number 1 player, first pick, running back. Titans trying to get their new Derrick Henry, I guess. Good unit at quarterback, Ingram. I haven't seen many 80-plus rated quarterbacks being generated. But for us picking way late, I don't think there was going to be many D tackles. I didn't think it was a particularly strength of this class. Look at that. So one went 6, one went 3. Guys we couldn't even really consider. So I think at the end of the day, we did all right. So here we go into year 4, and I think it's becoming a little bit of reality that maybe that team that we had year 2 winning the Super Bowl, is this team better than that? I think we're kind of in a holding pattern that, Quentin Nelson, Raymond, Jonathan Taylor, Daniel Jones on offense, like these guys were at their peak year 2, and we're now kind of on the downcline trying to maintain that. And our salary cap situation has been great, so we've lost talent and haven't really got roles in free agency to replace said talent, and we haven't drafted at an S-tier level, to be completely fair. Now, we got a couple nice linebacker players. We're going to need Zane Durant to step up and be the successor to Grover Stewart. Sucks that like our corners, Sauce and Ward, have been playing well, but they've just started regressing. And Sauce maybe been on the receiving end of a couple bad dev trait regressions. But also he hasn't been getting picks. And you need picks and production to keep your dev traits in Madden. So we go into year 4 off a maybe the most disappointing season we've had yet in any of our realistic rebuilds, considering we went 15-2 and we were the 1 seed, and we got done and dusted by a below 500 Jags team that, you know, yes, obviously they went on and won a Super Bowl, team of destiny, whatever. Still, we can only control what we control, and that is a horrific result. Let's be motivated. Let's kick some ass here in year 4. The midseason, we were at 4-2, which we feel pretty decent about, much like last year. All greens outside of our passing offense, which is fine because it's a little bit of a slow start. But we have the number 2 offense, number 3 defense at midseason, feeling pretty good that is going to hold its weight into December and January. Looking at our contracts, we have $140 million. Tyler Warren absolutely is getting paid, 4 years, just under $75 million. We have Daniel Jones. This is a Daniel Jones rebuild. I'm absolutely actually shocked that the regression hasn't hit him yet. Like, I don't think he's regressed yet, and he's like 32. I know they've made changes and stuff like that in Madden, but I think it'll be that good. Biden won DB of the year. We got to keep him. I think, yeah, it's the budget looking like now. 71. I think if Buckner wants to run it back for another year, this should take a priority. Maybe Charles Grant at tackle. It's going to be pretty difficult to find a better upgrade at tackle, assuming that we can afford a like Tui Miley. The production really hasn't been there for me to justify a contract extension. I think everyone else can kind of, we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see how bad the regression is on Ward. Maybe we let Grant and Tuimaleo hit the open market. Knowing our luck so far in this rebuild with free agency, both these guys will probably be the best players available, but let's be optimistic. And at the end of the year, we're as good as we were a year ago, and it doesn't inspire great confidence. And even though we have a Super Bowl win, I think last year is, you know, it's a what have you done for me lately like rebuild. And we were this good last year and crashed and burned. Very rare, though, that you get a 12-5 1 seed. We had whatever the tiebreaker would have been over the Buffalo Bills. I'm not, I've been on the wrong end of that way too much. Whoa! Cooper Jr. leading the league in yards and maybe touchdowns. And I'm watching right here, they're literally, Indiana is trying to get a end-of-game, game-winning drive situation over Penn State, down 4 points here, 40 seconds to go, first and goal. Pretty intense. But shout out Cooper from Indiana helping the Colts here. Daniel Jones, 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns to 4 picks. Jonathan Taylor continues just to be an absolute juggernaut. Omar Cooper is a bona fide stud with Tyler Warren in there, really being our wide receiver too. Kind of disappointing drop-off from Alec Pierce. He had 1,000 yards before we paid him. Classic, pay the guy, start sucking. But whoa, 18.5 sacks from DeForest Buckner, double digits for Latu. Where has this pass rush been? Happy that we brought back Buckner for a year. The rookie Goodwell moving inside, kind of being like a rusty tackle, 7.5 sacks for him. Jacob Rodriguez leading the team in tackles. That should be almost a guaranteed depth trade increase at the end of the year. Omar Cooper gets Offensive Player of the Year as well as Wide Receiver of the Year, and our only other award is Running Back of the Year, going to Jonathan Taylor yet again. Oh, that's incredible. All right, you go from below 500 Jags team first round in the playoffs to the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, our rankings speak for themselves. We got to trust this team to win a tough game or two here. Oh my God, Omar Cooper in the Indiana Penn State game. If this catch stays, oh my God, what a freaking grab. I don't know, dude. I hope so, man. It'll help with the clicks on this video. Dude, I don't know. I hope he got it, man. I'll put him in the goddamn fucking thumbnail if this catch stands for Indiana over Penn State. All right, I mean, the great equalizer in this one, I'd like to think, going up against the Chiefs, is going to be the home field advantage. We've been very tough to beat at home, but not when it matters. Lost in the playoffs last year at the home. So we need to see, a low-scoring game, I think. Anytime you get into a shootout with Kansas City, it's usually not a good thing. But our defense has done a great job. Through 4 quarters, only 12 points allowed to Mahomes and company. I don't love settling for field goals there, but if Daniel Jones can go on and legacy drive right there. You know what? I fucking hate Kansas City. Let's hop in here. We've already won a Super Bowl. So at this point, there's no necessarily taint. And I hate Kansas City. I think we've all, if you've played this game enough over the last 2-3 years, can also agree that we hate Kansas City. We got Omar Cooper Jr., who just won the game for Indiana. Breaks an ankle. House call. With a minute. I mean, there's still more than enough time for Mahomes to do. Got down to the red zone. But it's Omar Cooper winning for the Hoosiers IRL, winning for the Colts here today. This will be the only time I think we'll hop in. Maybe we'll wait and see if we can get to the Super Bowl run. But I don't want to taint this run more than it has to be. Big win. You had to deal with the Chiefs at home after last year's loss against the Jags. Mentally, again, this team earned it. It wasn't just me there. Love seeing the rookie first-round pick Goodwell with 2 sacks in his playoff debut. Good pass rush. We continue that throughout the playoffs. It's going to be huge. They're an interesting team, man. We've seen what? We've seen the Jets. We've seen the Browns. We've seen the Jags. A little bit more respect on the Jags making the playoffs. Now we see the Raiders in the playoffs. This has definitely been a rebuild of surprises. The 10-7 Raiders finished here with a top 5 overall offense, top 10 rushing offense, top 10 defense, the number 2 rush defense in the NFL. Damn good team. Feels like, again, are we in someone else's rebuild right now? AFC Championship game. I should have double-checked, man. Who's their quarterback? I assume they got a rookie. There's no way that's still Geno Smith. Okay, low scoring, kind of like the Kansas City game. Our offense is too good, though, to be low scoring. There we go, big touchdown. Everything to play for in the 4th. Let's get a game-time drive here. Daniel Jones. We get nothing. Too little, too late, man. Fuck. I mean, it did feel like we probably were going to lose against Kansas City. Me hopping in kind of delayed the inevitable. Lenore Sellers, the dual-threat quarterback out of South Carolina. Daniel Jones throws a pick, far from his finest performance. And we go into year 5, trying to get our second suit. I thought we would have honestly got another one by now. We have a retirement of note. Charvarius Ward retires after 11 years. Plan was to let him walk in free agency anyways. From a roster and lineup perspective, Omar Cooper is a superstar X Factor. Awesome. Going to put in as much Omar Cooper as we possibly can. Wide receiver of the year, offensive player of the year. Sick. Omar Cooper, everybody. Maybe surprising Daniel Jones isn't regressing too bad still. Like, there's been no red. And he is, 32? Okay. That's well done. That has been a huge gripe of mine in Madden over the last couple of years. And usually in rebuilds, this is not a talking point because we've had we usually have a young stud quarterback at this point. This is definitely a little bit more unique, and I haven't had a lot of experience seeing how the regression has been tuned in Madden 26 as much as if I have been playing with veteran quarterbacks. So that is pretty cool. That's finally not a broken mechanic. Defensively, we lose the X Factor on Bynum, but Goodwell, is he superstar out the gate, or did he gain a superstar? He did gain a superstar for getting Defensive Rookie of the Year, so that's awesome, building forward. So we have $70 million going into free agency, but we also let probably 2 of the best free agents hit the open market at positions we need to get better at. I feel good at safety. Corner, we could go, like if it's a BPA scenario, Janae Barron, honestly, would be pretty, I'm interested here. Let's go 4-year, 44 for him. I don't know where that will put us. But we're top of the pecking order there. I feel good with where our linebackers are at for the most part. Defensively, however, we let JT Tuamalia walk. Not a lot of interest. We might be able to bring him back kind of under the radar. Unless, this is a very interesting unless, we want to go with the veteran and try to get like a win now. Like our edge rushers have not given us good production. So could something like a Brian Burns coming in as an absolute mercenary here be the missing piece for us? So let's go heavy on Brian Burns. We have $20 million left. We also need a tackle. We're letting Charles Grant walk. We have enough to potentially, Connerly would be all right. Probably better than anyone we could draft on like a 1-year band-aid. Let's see what we can do here. First place, we haven't spent in free agency yet, so maybe It's what we need. Okay. Sick. Going to the draft, I still think you make the argument like D-line would be where you would logically go with, Buckner pretty much on a 1-year rental, and we don't have a lot of security. And look at this guy, though. Cam Tennyson across the board. I think that's going to be our pick. Not too often you get a sub-300-pound D tackle that puts up 43 reps on the bench press. He's going pick 17. We're going pick 16. There's no way. He goes 50. Fuck! So the good news, I guess, for us is if we're not going to go D tackle. Oh, Jesus. I thought they got rid of this shit. We could go corner. And, Jesus. Look at this thing. Corey Good, Texas A&M. He is a 3rd, 4th round pick. What? What? Like, even if, look, he says he fell 82 spots. So he could have been victim of, a storyline. 82 spots still is not enough. He's still probably, would have been, a 2nd round pick. Or late first, far from, a top 5. Yeah, we'll go with that pick. Number 2 in true value. What? Okay. Sick. I think we'll go back and get some linebacker depth. A-zone coverage on Mr. Joe Fowler, who also best athlete of the linebackers. And we're going to keep true with the Colts and how they draft. Raz, above all, 83 in true value at 62. We get the dev trade. I got to get a look here at that corner. Might be the most insane value pick. 81 he was projected 3rd, 4th round. Corey Good. We'll give him a pass for spelling Corey with an E. Usually those people are maniacs. But that, and then we got a 75 long snapper, drafted the heaviest long. I'm telling you, that's the tip and trick on that one. 71 dev trait linebacker. We got Arnold Beard at tight end dev trait out of Duke, just death behind Tyler Warren. But that is insane. That we might have been able to wait and get this guy in the 3rd round. And it's not too often in the 5th year of rebuild, a rookie gets to start and contribute, but that is just how special Corey Good is. So look at a team going into year number 5. More than enough talent, and we got to finally spend a little bit of bucks in free agency, bringing in Josh Connolly at right tackle. Defensively, seeing just maybe if something like Brian Burns coming in as an absolute mercenary, maybe that will finally give our edge rushers some big-time sack numbers. We get Jahdae Barron in the secondary. We get an absolute stud in the 1st round of the draft. There's not a weakness to this team. Maybe not elite. Maybe not, look at this ratings outside of Brian Burns. Buckner's regressed a little bit. We don't have an elite front 7, but we have a good front 7. We have I think it's fair to say, an elite secondary with adding the number 2 player in the draft into that secondary. And offensively, there's not many of any offenses that are better than what Daniel Jones has been able to put on the field for the past 4 years. Let's see if year 5 we can get our 2nd Super Bowl. And at the end of year number 5, we make it 5 straight seasons that the Indianapolis Colts have won the AFC South. It is the 2nd time that we've got the 1 seed off a 12-win year. Back-to-back years, the AFC has been, there's been no kind of runaway. 12 and that is, I'm usually Wildcard when you're doing rebuilds and you're going 12 and 5. Number 1 defense in the NFL. Offensively, I think we're probably at that point where it's all right, Daniel Jones starting to get a little old. Yeah. 10th in yards, 17th in touchdowns. That's your classic, your quarterback's washed type season, which doesn't give us great hope for the playoff run here. Jonathan Taylor was as consistent as always, even though the rushing touchdowns are down a little bit. Evan Stewart stepped up this year with 19 touchdowns, 1,100 yards, just under 1,000 for Omar Cooper. Alec Pierce has been solid. Probably never lived up to that contract extension that we threw out. Warren's also been pretty solid. Tackle machine, Jacob Rodriguez, the linebacker, 166 tackles, 6.5 sacks. We got 12.5 from DeVorest Buckner, 9 sacks from Latu, only 8.5 from Brian Burns. So I think I can say fairly confidently the interceptions aren't too bad with this Colts scheme, but don't expect if you're doing a Colts rebuild or hire a Colts DC or whatever to have big-time sacks. I just don't think it's possible with this scheme. Our only award winner this year goes to Jacob Rodriguez, who wins linebacker of the year. And because we know it's year 5, take a look at the player career stats, what they've been able to accomplish in this rebuild. Daniel Jones, career resurrection, a Super Bowl MVP, just under 37,000 yards passing, 241 touchdowns, 202 picks. We also got almost 4,000 yards, another 30 rushing touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor on a Hall of Fame pace, 13,000 yards rushing and 133 rushing touchdowns. Alec Pierce was solid early on the rebuild, kind of fell off a little bit down the stretch. Tyler Warren was uber consistent throughout, happy with his performance. Cooper and Stewart were great picks for us. Defensively, DeForest Buckner, 129 total sacks, 116 for Brian. I mean, obviously, we just inherited Brian Burns. Latu with 45.5. On the interception front. Can Bynum with 20. And I mean, for Sauce Gardner being like maybe the big reason to explore this rebuild. And we are going to be rebuilding the Dallas Cowboys next with Quinnen Williams. Not a lot of interceptions. Like, kind of like Sauce in real life, where like he's really good, but doesn't get a whole lot of the box score production. That kind of rang true here in this rebuild as well. Wow, for the second time in this rebuild, we are taking on the New York Jets in the playoffs. A little bit more reasonable to be seeing them down the line in 5 years. They did have, 5 first-round picks to kind of hit on and develop, but we ran into them way back in year 2. Played them in the wildcard round of the year that we went on and win the Super Bowl. So very fitting. Sauce Gardner gets another run at proving that he is better as a Colt than he is a Jet. And we have just lived at Lucas Oil Stadium here in this rebuild. So many home playoff games. Mixed results. I would think it's very reasonable to say we don't have a great home field advantage in our playoff games. That's all I can say. You know what? Fuck it. It's year 5. Let's play some moments here. Let's not let Daniel Jones play himself out with a bunch of failure years for everyone to forget how good he was in year 2. There we go. We got the X Factor. Floated up. Tyler Warren. Great tackle there by 3-7. But a good first down. Able to punch that in. Jonathan Taylor rushing touchdown. Gives us a very small lead. Field goal given up. Tied 10-10. Everything to play for here in the fourth quarter. Great drive by the Colts. Able to punch it in for 7. Jets respond. Why, man? I get it. Daniel Jones is a little bit older. But fuck. We have never had a team that's been constantly this much in the green for offensive, defensive, pass yards, pass defense, rush defense. That is just like, it feels like pulling teeth trying to win. And that is an absolute botch. One guy, and it was a foot race. Omar Cooper has good speed, far from elite speed. And that was enough to get us into overtime, where we're able to kick the field goal. And the Colts are moving on to the AFC Championship game. At least we didn't get one and done. Daniel Jones played a lot better in that second half. Surprise, surprise. 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Over 100 yards for Jonathan Taylor. Cooper with 2 touchdowns. Tyler Warren was unstoppable, but our defense needs to play a whole lot better. And the AFC Championship game is set, and it is the team that beat us way back in year 1 in the wildcard round. A second swing at Drake May and the Patriots here in the playoffs. And we bring our number 1 defense and our pretty solid offense against a Patriots team that's, middle of the ball. Pretty decent offense, pretty decent defense, nothing special. So that means Daniel Jones needs to run wild one last time at Lucas Oil Stadium. DJ. Just big game. Let's get 4 touchdowns. Sweat-free. Have this game well in the bag by the time the fourth quarter rolls around. Colts 14-7 lead. Haven't really been playing a whole lot. We got a safety. Great job, defense. Stepping it up. We needed them to. Kind of called them out off that divisional win. And they've showed up and done a great job, but we need to seal this one out and use our experience, and we are able to win super ugly. Daniel Jones wants one last attempt at a Super Bowl. 16-14. Patriots fall to the Colts the same way they did so often during those Brady Manning games. Daniel Jones was just efficient. No passing touchdowns. We let Jonathan Taylor kind of finish off those drives. Definitely giving JT the game ball here. Defensively, Goodwell with 2 sacks. That's great production out of the second-year man out of Florida State. Colts are back in the Super Bowl, baby. We got ourselves an interesting Super Bowl. A team you usually don't see from the NFC side. The Washington Commanders go 13-4 with a very, very good offense. And they have added Jeremiah Love, the talented Notre Dame running back, in the same backfield as Jaden Daniels. That would certainly be very annoying to deal with. Look at the Commanders. Jaden Daniels was a little more efficient this year than what we got out of Daniel Jones. The run games, probably fair to say it's a push. Receiving Ricky Pearsall. So wow, they've just All free agents. Interesting. Defensively, Kyle Lewis from Pitt. He's a dog. Tui Pelotu. Do they have any players that they drafted? Holy shit. Best receivers, all free agents. Best pass rushers, all free agents. We got to beat them at a rebuild principle. You can't just buy yourself a Super Bowl. So here we go. Oldie versus new kid on the block. The Commanders haven't made it this close since 2024 when they got smashed by the Eagles by like 50 points. Daniel Jones. It's a new era. New Daniel Jones. This is a Daniel Jones that's dominated the AFC South. This is a Daniel Jones that has got 3 straight 1 seeds. This is a Daniel Jones who is a Super Bowl MVP. And we need him, who honestly hasn't played that well this playoff stretch, to remind everybody the kind of player that he is no longer. Come on. Low scoring game. I like our defense. Number 1 defense. If it is going to be low scoring, we got to trust him. Oh, baby. Yes, I will come in on 3rd down. Up 11. Who wants it? What kind of play? What kind of play we got here? Let's go with this. See if we get this to Warren. Got him. And he gets separation. Touchdown, Colts. This is our Colts. This is our team. I don't remember the rest of it, but hell yeah, baby. Perfect. And this might actually be the only realistic rebuild we've had so far to yield multiple Super Bowls. Let me go look here. I got the little sheet. Have we won 2 before? We got 1. Oh, that's a lot. We got 2 with the Baltimore Ravens. Shit, we got 2 with the New York Giants. So it's actually not a rarity, but doesn't make it any less impressive. It doesn't make it feel any less special because it is Daniel Jones twice. Seeing blue and white confetti fall down. Shane Steichen, former Eagle offensive coordinator, twice a Super Bowl winning head coach. And in this matchup, I think it is twice that Indianapolis Jones is a Super Bowl MVP. Let's just confirm no one absolutely popped off defensively. No, I think this would absolutely be a second MVP for DJ. Let's go. So there you have it, fellas. That is a very successful Madden 26 Indianapolis Colts realistic rebuild, winning 2 Super Bowls, making Daniel Jones a thing, drafting incredibly well on both offense and defense, furnishing it when we needed to with free agents. The addition of Sauce Gardner, I assume, while it wasn't easily measurable from interceptions and turnovers, I think overall the fact that this defense multiple times has been a top 5 defense this year, Super Bowl winning year, the number 1 defense, I think Sauce Gardner had a huge part to play. And just what a career turnaround. Being able to continue that with Daniel Jones was pretty awesome to say. So what we're going to do next rebuild is going to be the Dallas Cowboys, obviously making the huge move to get Quinnen Williams. I also think, within the context of who we have left, the Cowboys may be more challenging of a rebuild. Because I think even with the addition of Quinnen Williams, that team still has a lot of issues, a lot more issues than what we inherited here with the Colts. So we'll be doing the Cowboys next, but whatever team you want to see after that, please let me know in the comment section below. This will be uploaded on Saturday night, I believe. Sunday night we will be doing, honestly, it depends if I can get my face paints at my girlfriend's work. The Raiders Super Bowl / offseason stream is tentatively scheduled right now for Sunday night. So if you're seeing this and you want to tune in, then I'll also, when I confirm the details, post everything on the old socials. That'll do for me today, guys. So thank you very much for watching. If it is your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. Until next time, it's your boy C4 saying peace and love ya. Have a good one.